So in this video we are looking at names of keys on the piano keyboard. You can see obviously, and everyone knows, there's black and white keys, and the black keys come in groups of 2 and 3. Then there's a single one at the very end of the piano, the low part, and that's where we start with our letter names, looking at white keys first, and we are using letter names from A to G. So what happens is we start from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So the A, if I look at the first one, that's actually in a complete group of 3. It's sort of in the middle, and it's not the easiest one to find. It's far easier to find C. And if we look at a group of 2 and we go to the left, that's where we find C. And if we go a bit further in the middle, you can see the make's name there. That's our middle C. And A to G is displayed along that. So when we want to find A, it's easier to find C first, then go down to A. As we go higher, we go forward in the alphabet. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's also useful to think backwards because music, of course, goes down as well. So in terms of letter names, we're going backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. And harder to say that quite often for people, but when we think of G, F, E, D spells fed, C, B, A, then it's a bit easier. So that's the basic letter names for the white keys, and then each letter name comes with 2 possible alterations, and they're called sharp or flat. And the idea is to find the white key and move either way of it, and to find the alterations. So if we have an A, we move up to the nearest possible key to the right, and this is called A sharp. Back to A, we can do the same going the other way. We're going to the nearest possible key to the left, and that's A flat. Now you obviously notice that black keys come in between white keys. So this was an A sharp just now, but I can equally call it name it after the B and call it B flat. B also has a sharp, which is a very odd idea, because if I go to the nearest possible key on the right, which is the rule always for sharps, I end up on C. And all the black keys have always 2 names, and some white keys have a normal letter name and another one that is an alteration, like B sharp. And you might think, what on earth is going on here, and why is that making sense? But it does make sense in context of pieces when we are looking at very common patterns such as the major scale, and we have to name keys just so to make sense of it, which will be covered in a different video. So common, of course, are in white keys the ordinary letter names. B sharp is quite rare. C sharp, so we have C here to the right, C sharp, or D to the left of that is D flat. All the black keys have a couple of names, and again some of them are a bit more common, like C sharp is a bit more common than D flat. E flat in its turn is slightly more common than D sharp, so it depends what context is more common. So very helpful thing to do is to find a letter name. C is to the right of is to the left of the group of 2. F in its turn is to the left of the group of 3. D is a nice one to find, right in the middle of the group of 2. E is, of course, on the other side, to the right of the group of 2, so you might find yourself a little way to remember that, and just go from one E, for example, to the next, and just learn what I call the geography of the keyboard. Anyway, that is the name of keys, and they will become quite important as we progress in this series to explaining scales.